4 girls are stranded on an island. One of them has experience with survival skills because of camping with her father, so they start surviving. In every episode, they begin a new adventure. After a crash landing on the island, the girls wake up and introduce themselves to each other. Asuka Suzumori is an optimistic and athletic girl, a student in Class C who is on both the basketball team and track team. Shinkyuju, a rich and spoiled girl who likes to play piano, is from Class 2B. Matsu Amatani, from Class A, is a shy-looking girl. Her hobbies are cooking and reading, and she also yaps a lot when she starts talking, a part-time professional yapper, you can say. And finally, Hamer Onishima, from Class 2 Fahrenheit, a serious and sober-looking girl who discloses that this is not her first time being shipwrecked and marooned like others. Then the story goes back a bit, 20 hours earlier. Hamer was unconsciously lying on a huge broken part of the ship, remembering her childhood days and her father's survival tactics, how he taught her to fight, how to cook during a survival, and how to eat a moose's balls. Unconsciously, she is loudly sleep-talking and saying, "Papa, balls stink," while the other girls are trying to wake her up. She finally wakes up, and the girls start complaining about their current situation while Hamer stays calm. Shin, being a spoiled girl, starts to rant about her problems, why they aren't getting rescued, and how she is becoming so thirsty. Asuka tells her that the thing they have plenty of is water, so it is not a problem. Hamer explains to them through mathematics that seawater is undrinkable. It'll make you more thirsty the more you drink it, and it can even kill you if you drink it excessively. Suddenly, the fish from the sea stars jump up on the surface. Hamer stands up like the real Slim Shady and hits a fish with a metal pipe. Then she removes her shirt, wraps the fish in her shirt, and drinks the fish's blood. Bro, she Trina B. Bear Grylls so bad. She tells them that it is good to stay hydrated and offers it to them too, but they all decline the offer, as any sane person would do. Hamer instinctively tells them that if fish are coming to the upper part of the sea, then there is definitely land nearby. Shin again starts to complain that they need water, and unlike Gorilla Girl Hamer asks her how thirsty she is. OMG, straightly coming to the point. How freaky of you, Hamer. Then she removes her shirt and tries to pee on her face to remove her thirst. You know what? She definitely got that Bear Grylls in her. Time goes by, and the sun is about to set, but there are no signs of a rescue team. Asuka complains that she would be in better comfort than this if things hadn't gone wrong. Matsu starts crying because of the situation they are in. Time passes by, and night comes and goes. Shin wakes everyone up in the morning and tells everyone that she can see an island. Shin suggests everyone swim there because it would be best for everyone. Hamer, before swimming, saw a tiger shark but did not tell anyone about it. While they are tiredly swimming, they see the shark and instantly turn into LeBron James of swimming. Hamer uses her phone's battery to give the shark an electric shock, which makes it stay away from them. They finally reach the island safely, and Hamer ensures they are safe now. Hamer tells them that this is not the first time she has been stranded. They curiously ask her the story behind it. She reveals that she has been in the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and the Indian Ocean with her father before, and both of them have been stranded there before as well. While they are talking about the essentials of surviving, Matsu passes out because of dehydration. Everyone carries her to the shade, and she wakes up there. Then they plan to make a source for hydration. Hamer and Asuka decide to find water, and Matsu and Shin find empty water bottles at the beach side of the island. Hamer eats a flying insect and starts to explain about the sources of water, which are plants and animals, coconut and banana trunks, cutting bamboo and vines, purifying dirty water, filtering seawater, using rainwater, and the last one is to find a proper water source. Hamer tells Matsu to wait a while and use her spit to stay hydrated, but Matsu tells her that she has no spit in her mouth left. Hamer kisses her and gives Matsu her spit, which comes with a gift, the leg of the insect she ate just now. Please somebody tell this Hamer that I also have no spit left in my mouth. At the end of the episode, Matsu complains that her first kiss tasted like locust. This marks the start of high school girls' unexpected desert island adventure after a plane crash, where their resourcefulness and humor lead them through survival challenges like eating locusts and building a shelter. After Shin and Asuka have gone to find a source of water, Matsu and Shin have to find trash bottles. Matsu, because she passed out, is resting, and Shin is complaining about their task and how she actually doesn't trust Hamer. Matsu stays positive and starts to tell the pros of having Hamer on their side and how she is dependable. Shin tries to argue that she is more dependable than Hamer, but instead runs off to find something for Matsu so she can lie down comfortably. On the other side, Asuka and Hamer are searching for a water source. Asuka gets tired, but Hamer keeps on going like she is a pro. Asuka calls her to take a break, but Hamer tells her that she is fine alone. If Asuka wants to go back, she can. Asuka asks her to talk to her a bit calmly, but Hamer, being solemn, ignores her. Hamer notices a wasp, which indicates to her that there should be water somewhere close to them. Back at the beach, Shin brings a coconut for Matsu so she can use it as her pillow. OMG, so dependable. Matsu tells her that it is a coconut, and Shin argues that coconuts are green because she was once in Hawaii when she was a kid and it was greener than this. Matsu explains to her that it must have come from somewhere. That's why its color changed. Shin uses 100% of her brain and comes up with the idea of using its water to stay hydrated. Matsu suggests that she should share it with everyone. Shin agrees, but with lustful, shiny eyes, starts to see Matsu with the intent of getting praise. Matsu praises her work, and she becomes like a puppy. Meanwhile, Asuka and Hammer don't find anything. While Asuka is taking a rest, Hammer finds another sign of a water source. Hammer starts digging in clay mud for water. Asuka is almost about to pass out from dehydration. After a while, Hammer comes with some wet mud in a tight cloth, which gives drops of water if you put pressure on the cloth. Hammer starts sucking the cloth and tells her that it is the best water she has had in her life. After almost finishing it, she offers it to Hammer. She declines it, saying that Asuka can have it and she will make another one as she has another sock left too. Yeah, you got it right. Asuka was sucking Hammer's socks. Shin and Matsu are in trauma because the coconut they thought would help them came out rotten after they broke it. Now they are in despair, and Shin dramatically takes an oath from Matsu that if somehow she is about to pee, please drink it because she does not want to see her dying from thirst. As they are talking, the rain starts instantly, and Shin starts to spin in the rain like a princess while Matsu helps her realize that her underwear is falling down. Back to Hammer and Asuka. Asuka drinks the rainwater and tells Hammer again that it is the best water she has had in her life. After a while, they return to Shin and Matsu. Hammer tells them that they have secured water for now and introduces them to the 3 rules of survival. First, maintain your body temperature or die. Second, a person can live only 3 days without water. Third, without food, a person dies within 3 weeks. Hammer proposes the idea of making a shelter, but everyone rejects it, saying that they haven't eaten anything and that food is more important than a shelter right now. Hammer agrees and goes with everyone's decision to have food first without any complaint. After searching here and there for food, Hammer finally drops her Bear Grylls personality and unlocks Gordon Ramsay's personality this time. She finally makes the first dish ever. Mix of sea urchins, cicadas, seaweed, and everything in a dirty jar. They decide to use rock, paper, scissors to select and eat things. Shin wins first and takes the sea urchin because that's the only thing edible here. Asuka sets her eyes on seaweed because that's the closest thing to the word edible. Sadly, she loses, and Matsu takes the seaweed. Now, it is only between Asuka and Hammer, and she gives her permission to take anything she wants. She discloses that the dirty jar is actually blueberry jam. Asuka takes it instantly without rechecking the expiration and quickly vomits after eating it. Hammer, on the other hand, returns to her usual Bear Grylls style and shows how to eat cicadas. Matsu, out of sympathy, decides to share her seaweed with Asuka while Hammer and Shin enjoy their food. Now the sun is almost about to set, and Hammer tells everyone that today everyone will sleep on the beach. Other girls try to complain, but she makes them remember that she did not agree to make a shelter. Within 5 seconds, she is even taking a peaceful sleep with huge snores. Amazing everyone, she just like me FR. Now, everyone is about to sleep and happy that they have survived the second day. Hammer again starts to talk in her sleep. Papa, I can't eat more balls, and here episode 2 ends. Episode 3 begins with Asuka drinking water from a bottle, worried that no rescue team has come to help them, while Hammer is making a shelter for them. She praises and appreciates her sincerity with them and how she is the master of this island right now. While Asuka is hitting the sitting lone wolf pose, her tummy growls and she complains to Hammer for food. Hammer argues that all of them are taking breaks as soon as they start, so they have no right to ask for food. Now, Asuka, thinking to herself, notes that Hammer seems a bit cold, but she remembers that the last time she threw a tantrum, Hammer still went and brought food for her. She tries the strategy again and says loudly that she is hungry, but fails badly. Then she starts asking for food like a baby but soon stops when Matsu and Shin see her. Hammer tells them that she needs more vines to make the shelter and is going to the forest. Asuka, who has a master plan in her mind which is to find something to eat in the forest, tells her that she is joining her in this adventure. Asuka and Hammer are walking in the forest. Asuka finds potato leaves in the forest and soon becomes the jolliest girl in the world. They finally decide to dig it out. And it turns out that it is not taro or potato, but the hungry girl is all in to eat the plant raw. Hammer tries to stop her from eating it because it looks dangerous, but Asuka starts thinking that she hates vegetables and likes to eat insects only. Hammer introduces her to the idea of patch testing the plant. She starts to explain the idea, which is to cut the plant and put it on a body part. If it swells the body part, it is not edible. Hammer cuts the plant and asks her where she should touch it, and Asuka goes freaky and suggests on her hips. Hammer does what Asuka told her to do, and it turns out the plant swells her hip in just a few seconds. Asuka, accepting her fate, lies down, complaining to Hammer that she can't help now because she is starving. She notices that her hands are shaking because of hunger, and suddenly a cicada comes and sits on her hand. She immediately captures it and tries to eat it, but becomes irritated and it flies off. Homer recaptures it, and this time she guides Asuka like a monk and makes her eat it. Asuka, thankfully, thinks that she definitely is the master of this island. Meanwhile, Shin, who is hitting the sitting lone wolf pose, is missing her family and her dog, Arnold. She starts grumbling to herself about her situation, lamenting the lack of drinks, food, and a pet. She sees the girl sitting under the shelter now, which is almost complete. She comes running to everyone and suggests a new idea, that after shelter is done, they should create a shower. Homer eventually agrees by saying that survival and hygiene are connected to each other, and everyone acknowledges it. After a while, it is created, and it definitely looks weird and has no privacy. Homer explains the science behind it, and Shin is voted out by everyone to try it first. She resists at first, but then, after a bit, is seen happily taking a shower, but soon gets embarrassed again when Asuka and Mutsu interfere with the bath and accidentally break it. I hope she makes it, bro. In the next scene, Mutsu and Homer are walking around the beach. Mutsu asks Homer, can they only obtain shellfish from the sea? Homer confirms this, as they do not have any weapons. Mutsu talks to herself about how things that she has learned in school are useless here, but how Homer, being the teacher, is teaching them new things. Homer and Mutsu plan to jump into the sea to get food. Homer removes her clothes quickly, which makes Mutsu a bit shy. She tells Mutsu to remove her clothes and come with her, but to not force yourself. After a while, they collect some shells, and it turns out that they have found a buy one, get one free offer too, because there are also hermit crabs in the shells. Homer teaches Mutsu how to eat these crabs, which makes her a bit gross. After that, they return to the shelter, where Asuka and Shin are doing literally nothing. Homer tells them about the food, and how they are going to start a campfire using a plastic bottle as a convex lens, grass, and sunlight. Soon they start a campfire, and everyone is amazed by Homer's skills. They start cooking the shellfish on a huge stone, and they start to gossip about how the shells are going to taste and what the correct way to eat them. Homer teaches them the way to eat. Everyone starts to like the shells and eats too much. The episode concludes with Homer telling everyone that they can eat as much as they want, as she has hermit crabs she can eat. This episode was mainly like the start of Minecraft. Episode 4 starts with Homer teaching everyone how to cook crabs. At first, everyone is grossed out by the look of them, but they try them one by one and find them delicious. The new problem that occurs now is that the crabs are so small that they barely contribute to reducing the hunger of the girls, so they start to yap on this issue. So, Homer tells them not to worry because the next thing they are planning to do is hunt some animals. Homer reveals that she has seen the footprints of squirrels on this island. She starts giving information about it, including how a squirrel has small, cute feet that resemble footprints similar to the shape of a butterfly, and obviously how good they taste. Homer presents the idea of using traps, and by using traps, they can do other stuff in their free time too. Asuka expresses a bothered feeling and says that she was expecting to hunt animals with spears. Mutsu asks Homer about the type of trap they will use to hunt down squirrels. Homer tells the ways her father taught her, which are strangler traps, stabbing traps, and crushing traps, and dropping into a whole trap. Homer, who is super excited about this, tells the girls that there are more types of traps, but the first trap she ever used was a deadfall trap, and then she is stuck in her own exciting world and starts to yap about her story. In the next scene, everyone is collecting items and preparing the trap except for Shin, who isn't supporting them because of violence. Asuka asks Homer if they are going to find anything useful in the trash or not. Homer tells them that she is trying to make a snare trap, and for that they need a thin wire. While Asuka is trying to find a wire, she encounters a frog. Homer mentions that frogs have poison under their skin, but they are edible as long as the skin is removed. Asuka, who is now scared and terrified, tries to capture it, but Homer again interferes and tells her that frogs have poison behind their ears too, which makes her more scared now. As the frog is coming near Asuka, she is getting more terrified. She finally catches the frog with a unique weapon, the skirt trap. Yeah, that's right, with her skirt, it should have been me. Now, Asuka is taking the frog to Mutsu in the skirt cage and jollyingly asking her to hold it. Having a delicate nature, Mutsu avoids it. Homer explains that if you don't let the poison go into your eyes, everything's safe. All of a sudden, Asuka goes to her Einstein mode and starts to think that in order to eat the frog, we first have to kill the frog. How are they going to kill the frog? Or if Asuka is going to do the task? Wait until she finds out that, in order to drink a glass of water, you will have to open your mouth first. While Asuka, Homer, and Mutsu are walking, they find a burrow with poop outside of it. Homer, go and start to smell it. We all have some weird fetishes, She finds out by smelling that it is the poop of a rabbit, so there might be rabbits nearby. Homer orders them to return and tells them that the plans have now switched from finding squirrels to finding rabbit. Everyone returns back to the shelter, where Shin is filtering out water. Matsu tells Shin that they have a frog to eat now, but Asuka acts like the frog got away, and she couldn't notice that. In fact, she knew that damn well. Hamer starts to complain and tells her that Asuka is so dumb. Matsu says to herself, Hamer, you are the one so dumb here. Asuka complains to Hamer that the things they picked up are basically trash. And could they even be successful in capturing a rabbit with this trash? If Hamer ensures that they have vines and wood, they will definitely make something out of it, which is a snare trap. After a while, we find Hamer sneakily climbing up on a tree and setting up the trap. With the help of the girls, she finally makes the trap. Asuka is opted in as the test material for the trap, and it soon gets revealed that she wears a bunny panty. Soon, they leave the place and are walking in the forest, excitedly waiting to eat a rabbit. Hamer shuts them up and tells them rabbits have sensitive ears. Hamer tells them to split into groups and set more traps. Asuka and Matsu have trouble setting up a trap, but at last, they finally set it up. Hamer joins them later after the noise they made was too loud for her. Hamer appreciates the work but is not sure if the trap will work again. So, Asuka volunteers as the testing prototype once more, and again, Asuka's panties were revealed, and the trap seemed to work fine. This episode begins where we left off in the last episode. The girls are waiting to eat rabbits, especially Asuka, who's craving them. Shin appears to be holding a pack of wood all by herself. Shin asks them if they succeeded in their task. Hamer reveals everything so peacefully that it is gonna take days to capture, shocking everyone. This makes Shin mad, and she furiously asks, what are they going to eat tonight then? Her outburst jolts their brain cells into action, reminding them that they haven't thought about their immediate food needs. Hamer makes her sure she will find something, and she doesn't have to worry. She despairingly asks if it is gonna be shells again. What do you want, girl, on a wild island? A burger. Hamer promises to find turban shells today. Shin becomes happy and expresses her love for turban shells. Now, Asuka and Hamer are stuck with this new task, so they go to a place where the water is 10 meters deep. They have to dive and find turban shells there, so they remove their shirts. They jump into the water. Asuka gets scared quickly because of the darkness, but Hamer, being the man of the house, starts to find things and goes even deeper, remembering her father's instruction in her mind. Hamer can find only fish and not turban shells there. She plans to give up on turban shells and bring the normal shells again, but she remembers how disappointed Shin was before. After a while, they return to the shelter, where Shin and Matsu have found a bucket that can be used as a pot. Asuka and Hamer bring the food packed in their t-shirts. However, Hamer accidentally drops her shirt, and all she sees are small starfish instead of turban shells. She gets disappointed with her and starts to move away. Does she think that Hamer is her slave and is going to bring whatever she wants? Now that the sun is about to set, Hamer is cooking and teaching the girls about their dinner, while Matsu is taking an interest in the new knowledge, and Shin is fumbling out because she wants to eat turban shells. After cooking the first starfish, she offers it to Shin, who resists at first but grabs the food after seeing fresh scars on Hamer's hand. Asuka reveals that Hamer got hurt while collecting food and accidentally cut her hands. This revelation makes Shin feel worse. She instantly tries the starfish and tells Hamer that it is delicious and even better than turban shells. Shin thanks Hamer, and the day draws to a close. The next day, we find Asuka, Matsu, and Hamer walking in the forest to go back and check on the rabbits. Matsu is exhausted from walking too much, whereas Asuka is energetic and excited to eat. Hamer gets mad at Asuka for making so much noise that she might make rabbits go hide themselves. Hamer again tells the dumb Asuka that in order to eat a rabbit, you have to kill them before it. Are all the women this dumb? Or is she just special? After a bit, Hamer finds the trap they set up, but there aren't any rabbits trapped there. They almost resign themselves to the difficulty of capturing rabbits when they see a huge smoke trail in the air. They get shocked and start running towards it, thinking that it is a rescue team. It turns out to be Shin who made the smoke because she thinks she saw a ship going by. Then they all start crying that it is tough for them to stay here, except for Hamer, who remembers her dad telling her to make a barbecue if she is feeling sad. Yeah, not the balls this time. A few hours later, Hamer wakes up Shin secretly. This makes Shin think that she has made Hamer mad by crying every time. And now Hamer is going to do something dangerous to her. Basically, she is in her delusions just like me. Hamer takes her to a sandy place and orders Shin to dig the place where she is standing right now. Now, Shin thinks that she is digging a place where Hamer will throw her. She almost starts to yap, but soon stays locked in when Hamer asks her what she is doing. When Shin focuses, she starts to find fish on the sand, and soon they start to collect the fish. After collecting fish, Hamer shares the plan to make a barbecue tonight, which excites Shin more. The sun has set now, and at night, Matsu and Asuka are returning from the forest with just wood and no food, but they see Hamer and Shin grilling fish. Shin tells them about the barbecue party, and they get super excited about it. They even made tea from branches, which they poured into trash-used cups, making Shin disgusted. They savor every bite of their dinner, Then they all become united and shout that everything is going to be alright. Trina B. Kendrick Lamar. The next day, Matsu and Asuka are walking in the forest to check the traps again. Asuka mentions that she doesn't want to kill the rabbits because she used to have some in her childhood. Soon, they find out that the traps have actually moved on, indicating a rabbit is finally trapped. But there is a problem. Something in the grass is still moving, and here the episode ends. In the next episode, Matsu and Asuka are scared and wonder if the rabbit is still alive and moving in the grass. They check it out, and it is actually a rabbit who got its leg caught but is still trying to run. Both of them panic. Asuka suggests that they should go and bring Hamer, and Matsu rejects the idea, saying that the rabbit might flee by that time. Matsu tries to kill it with a stick but fails. At last, Asuka kills the rabbit with that stick. Hamer and Shion are sitting at the shelter, thinking that it was a waste to set those traps, but soon Asuka and Matsu appear with the rabbit they killed. Hamer praises them and tells them now they need a knife to cut the animal. They maintain the temperature to keep the rabbit fresh. Then they start to make a stone knife, which is even more difficult for Hamer. Matsu asks for a request that she try cutting down the rabbit to kill her fear of killing animals. And to be fair, she does that work very nicely. Even Hamer gets impressed. Finally, somebody other than Hamer can work here. The next topic is what they should make from the rabbit meat. Shen, after contributing literally nothing, becomes the leader and suggests the idea of making a French dish called liver. She begins his nonchalant yap session about her experience and how they're gonna make it. Hamer guides Matsu to cut the rabbit into pieces nicely. But yeah, she does ruin this. Shin mentions that they aren't looking elegant now, which makes Matsu mad at Shin. Well, she is not wrong. Then they finally set up their cooking and timer using sunlight and shadow. And then they wait for the food to get ready. After a while, finally, liver is ready, made on some leaves, salt extracted from seawater, and cooked on stones. Everyone gets impressed that they finally somehow got successful in making a fresh dish on a wild island. Now everyone is enjoying the rabbit and the soup they made and nostalgically gossiping. Everyone takes their first magnificent bite of rabbit, and its taste takes them to the next world. After eating, everyone is now lying down on the beach side. The sun is about to set, and Shin tells everyone that it was her first time getting her belly full after arriving on this island. Meanwhile, Asuka, who has kept a bone from the rabbit she killed as a keepsake, thanks the rabbit. The episode ends here. The next episode starts with Hamer telling everyone that even after this much time, the rescue team has failed to arrive. So, she thinks that she should explore this island more if they are here for a long time. She wants to find a better food source, water source, plants, and shelter place, and even prepare for the fall and winter just in case. She says that she needs someone to come with her too. Asuka agrees to join her, but Matsu is also interested. Hamer tells them that she only needs one person, and she doesn't want to leave only one person at the shelter either. Asuka starts a civil war there and tells Hamer to choose between Matsu and her. Shin, sitting, thinks that Hamer needs someone dependable with her, and as Shin is the only dependable there, she has no choice left but to go with Hamer. She tells Hamer that she is ready to join her with a cute face, and now Hamer has to choose between the three of them. Hamer chooses Matsu. They pack the stuff they need and go on their adventure. At the start of their adventure, Matsu finds out that walking on wet sand is actually comfortable. During this, they come across a plant that grows on the beach, and Matsu eats it raw. They start talking about plants, and Hamer wonders if Japan is close. They can swim back to it. I hope she is joking. After a while, the night is close, and they are still searching around. They find a dock, and a glimmer of hope appears in their eyes. But Hamer tells them that the dock has been abandoned for a long time. However, there might be some living space and there might be someone there. At that point, they make a camp to spend the night and relax. While they are resting around the fire, Matsu asks why she chose to come with her. Hamer praises her by saying that she is cautious and quick to adapt things, best suited for a survival mindset. This makes Matsu shocked and feels good. She expresses that she is worried about the other two, who aren't suited for the survival situation. Matsu mentions that they have zero level of dependency. Then the thought of Asuka and Shin crying because of the darkness comes to their minds, and Hamer's motherly instinct starts to hit, and she actually gets worried like a mom. While they are talking, who seem to be hiding something. They call it a complete coincidence, while Asuka is crying because of the darkness. Hamer gives them permission to stay at their camp tonight. They even came hungry and empty-handed and are now asking for food, which Hamer only brought for herself and Matsu. The next thing Hamer does is make a roof, remembering her father's saying. Bro, why does her father look like the Walmart version of Snake from the Vinland Saga? Justice for my man, Snake. She set up a fisherman's net, and they all snuggled together on it to sleep. Asuka asks everyone to name this island. Shin suggests that they should name it Kyuju Island, which is obviously the name of Shin. Everyone rejects this name, then suggests that it should be called Idiot's Island. And again everyone rejects it and goes to sleep. The next day, Matsu wakes Shin and Asuka up for breakfast, which is crabs and edible plants. Hamer reminds them that after eating the food, they have to explore the area. Matsu tells them they have found a dock, so there might be people here on this island. Hamer shares the plan of searching out all of them separately but has to return after taking 1,000 steps. Asuka, while searching for Yuzu, Hamer, and Matsu couldn't find anything special. They are waiting for Shin, who is taking too much time to come back, who finally comes running with the shocking news that she has found a house. All of the girls, excitedly and with hopes in their eyes, start running to the location. At last, they do find a house, which is literally 5 hours left only. Yeah, it is totally broken and falling apart. Despite this, Hamer assures them that it is a good discovery. Hamer goes inside her and has a hard time finding anything useful there. While she is inside the house, Asuka shows off her yuzu to Shin and they try to peel it and even take a bit. Hamer excitedly comes outside and reveals a thing she found, which are broken grass cutting scissors. Everyone does not feel the same excitement as her. She expresses that she is finding a metal material. She breaks it, turns it into a knife, and starts yapping about how great a discovery it is. Everyone goes back to where Asuka found the yuzu tree and brings yuzus as much as they can with them. Then Hamer takes everyone to a higher part of the land for more searching. But it seems they are in the middle of the ocean and can't find land near the sea. The episode ends with Hamer spotting another smoke trail in the distance. Hamer shouts if there is anybody there, but no reply comes. They go back to that location, which takes a lot of time, and it seems like no one was there, and it was actually hot water over 100 degrees Celsius. Now the girls have found a hot spring for them, and all of them are excited. Matsu mentions that the stones around it are arranged in a way that somebody made it. Hamer agrees with her and starts to analyze, but Asuka stops her and forces her to enjoy the bath. Now at night, everyone is taking a bath together. Everyone mentions how good it feels to take a proper bath after so much trouble. Then add uses in the bath for fragrances or maybe another weird fetish. Hamer robotically yapping mentions that uses are good for skin, but they collected them as food and definitely not for this purpose. Hamer then starts discussing stars, the sky, and astronomy. Matsu, catching interest, joins in and, much like Eminem with his rapid-fire verses, begins to yap non-stop about the topic. While she is uttering nonsense, Hamer notices that the bath is getting colder, and it is because seawater is getting mixed into it. Soon, a massive wave crashes in and pushes them out of the bath. It seems the water got tired of these nonsense creatures that had rejected its existence. They choose to see this as a positive sign and are more motivated to explore further. Then they go back to their camp to sleep again. The next morning, Matsu wakes Asuka and Shin again. Is she an alarm clock for them? After breakfast, Hamer takes them to a new place she found. There, she has discovered a huge fat rope, which is used for anchoring boats. Hamer tells them that she wants to obtain it, which seems a little difficult because the rope is in water that seems deep. She tells them that the rope can be useful to make the shelter stronger. After taking the measurements, Hamer unexpectedly jumps into the water, shocking everyone. Once she retrieves the rope, she starts to think about how she will climb back up. Remembering her father's commandment, she follows his instructions and successfully climbs back, astonishing everyone once again. Soon, heavy rain begins, and everyone runs to the shelter. As the rain intensifies, they huddle under the shelter's cover to stay dry. Despite the storm, Asuka, who tells everyone that she is already soaked, decides to venture into the ocean for something as if it were a grocery store. She strips off her clothes and runs into the water, but suddenly a lightning bolt strikes fiercely and she collapses in the ocean. Hamer helps her to bring her back, and the lightning starts to strike more intensely, scaring everyone. Hamer shares the new plan to get something 45 meters tall, which will somehow save them from the lightning. For something this big, I think we might need to contact Drake. Matsu suggests they make something from the woods, as they don't have anything this tall. After Hamer builds a new shield against the lightning while the others are upset, the rain finally stops. Asuka strips again and goes to the ocean, inviting others too. She jumps into the ocean, inviting others too, but passes out again after getting shocks from jellyfish. Hamer saves her again and starts to medicate her. This is where this episode ends. The next episode begins with a flashback to Hamer's childhood, where she is camping with her father, while eating radishes that grow in deserts. They discover that their guide has stolen their camels and fled. Her father imparts a crucial lesson. Life comes with trouble and emphasizes the most essential survival rule. He explains that, with knowledge, you can satisfy your hunger and always move forward. Tita Tadaki. Now, back to the present time. Hamer is still stuck on the island with Matsu. She is trying to make a proper, sharp knife. They are using different ingredients like resin, rabbit's poop, and ash, but since Hamer is the one doing that, we'll let her cook. And after some time, they have finally finished with their project knife, which has a cover and a grip now. But Hamer mentions that it isn't actually done because it needs sharpening. and she needs to make another knife, too. She tells Matsu to put the leftovers on some sticks, and they'll use them as torches, which will come in handy. A new crafting item is unlocked. While Matsu is working hard, Asuka complains that today is very hot for her. She calls Matsu and tells her that the sunburn over her nape is starting to sting. Everyone starts to get worried about the damaging UV light. Shin mentions that she is going to turn tanned if they don't do anything about the sunlight. She further expresses that from lovely and sweet girls, they'll turn into tan delinquent girls to desiccated husks if they are left out in the sun too long. While they are talking about this issue, Homer is in the ocean, showing that she is not interested in their gossip. She goes underwater and remembers another lesson her father taught her about seeing underwater. She feels proud that she can see underwater better now through the practice. After some time, she returns to everyone, all dirty but with a squid in her hand. Shin comes and requests Homer that she wants a sunblock. Homer again remembers her father's teaching. Is it just me? Or do you think too that her father's teachings are coming like revelations? 7 years ago, her father taught her the method to stay safe from UV rays, which is to extract the squid ink from the squid and apply it to your body. Suddenly, everyone becomes interested in having ink on their body, but Homer says that the quantity of ink is only for one person. They play stone, paper, scissors to decide who will win the ink. Finally, Matsu wins and gets the ink applied to her body. She is now black, and Asuka and Shin mention that she is happy that she didn't win it. Thank God they aren't in America. Shin asks the other way to make a sunblock. Homer presents a new way of making sunblock using seaweed. As usual, she starts yapping and making things, so we will again let her cook. She is finally done with her work, but Shin accidentally pours all the liquid on Homer. But Asuka starts rubbing her body with Homer's too, just to get sunblock applied too. So freaky. Shin starts complaining that everyone except her has protection against the UV rays, which isn't fair. This time, Homer gives her dried squid liver, which also acts as a sunblock. Shin applies it to her body, then starts complaining about its smell like a child. In this anime, that's Shin. In the next scene, they are walking to the forest, and there isn't anything in the trap. Suddenly, some insect bites Matsu. Homer at first tells her to leave it, but again, her father's teaching comes into her mind as fast as the speed of light, which is to not neglect anything, even small things. After that, she finds and applies dandelion sap to her, which makes Matsu feel better. While Homer is trying to complete some tasks, she finds Asuka and Shin in a heated argument. They are debating over the silliest thing, whether to make a drying rack for their clothes or a hammock. Shin doesn't want her clothes to dry on a tree branch like Asuka's and insists on having a rack. This argument triggers a memory in Homer's mind. Another lesson from her father. Honestly, I'm getting tired of these flashbacks. As a child, while climbing with her father, she asked what to do if she needed to pee. Her father told her to do it in her pants, even if she had to poop, because there is no room for embarrassment during survival. Just then, a gust of wind blows and reveals Asuka's underclothes hanging on a tree. Homer praises her, reiterating that there is no place for embarrassment in survival. Now they have finally made a hammock where they can sleep during the night. Homer also suggests building a roof. Shin again comes with a fancy request for perfumes. Homer smells her and is reminded of another memory. Oh, for God's sake. NOOO. A memory of her father going back home. Her father tells her to take a shower after going home because they are returning home after a month. Her father tells her to take a shower immediately, or her mom will go mad. She smells her father and says he doesn't stink. Her father tells her the secret, which is called olfactory fatigue. The science behind this term is that both of them stink so bad that they are not feeling it. Homer tells Shin that it is alright, giving her a false sense of hope, only to then dash her hopes by saying that all humans stink. Asuka praises Homer for her survival skills, and Homer starts to share her childhood with her father. Everyone thinks of her father, even Homer, but she accidentally uses the word papa instead of dad, making everyone suspect she has a father complex. We are moving to the end of the series now. The next episode begins with Homer showing the girls the bamboo she found. Homer plans to make a shelter using these bamboo. Homer packs them and decides to transfer them to their shelter using water from their current location to the coast, with someone riding on them and steering them. Homer explains the process through sketching on the sand, and they start to make fun of her weird-looking drawing, making her mad. Now, Asuka and Shin are riding and steering the raft, but soon, Shin, being useless, vomits on the raft. They finally arrive at their location, and Matsu asks her what's next. The next thing Homer does is cut bamboo into proper sizes using fire. Matsu brings her other heavy pieces too, but she sort of fumbles while carrying the pieces, which makes Shin and Asuka laugh. At last, they become successful in creating a roof, and Asuka and Shin become the most excited while they don't do anything in the contribution. About the specs of the new roof, the roof also has a gutter, which can store water for later use. Homer tells them to make new tools now from the leftover bamboo. A bee comes and sits on Shin's face, which causes her to throw a tantrum. Hamer uses her senses and tells her that there might be a beehive nearby. Hamer leads everyone to a fallen tree where they find a beehive. Excitedly, she announces that they can now enjoy some honey. Hamer recalls her father's warning about the dangers of bees, as their stings can be life-threatening. She advises everyone to be cautious and avoid getting stung. She shares the plan of attack. She places a torch near the hive, and the smoke brings out the bees. They get down and stop moving to avoid provoking the bees. After a bit, she quickly moves to the beehive to extract it, and she calls someone to grab it from her. Everyone resists, but as Shion sees that she has been stung by the bees, she goes to help her. They finally get the beehive, and after collecting it, they return to their shelter. Hamer is about to extract honey from the beehive. After extracting the honey, Shion puts honey in the places where Hamer got stung as medicine. Hamer makes her taste honey, and Shion loves it. The next day they are in the ocean hunting down using the spears they made from bamboo. After seeing the catch, Shion expresses her desire to join Hamer next time instead of Asuka. Hamer notices some bats flying overhead, which startles her. A day passes, and today Shion is helping Hamer with the fishing, confidently declaring that she will catch a big fish. Since Shion can't dive, she uses the raft to find fish. Hamer goes underwater to find something. After a bit, she returns to the surface to show Shion that she has captured a fish, but after returning, Shion is nowhere to be found. The episode ends on a cliffhanger with Hamer shouting Shion's name from a height to find her, but there are no signs of Shion. The moral of the story is, never ask for any help from Shion, never let Shion cook again. Matsu and Asuka, who are in the forest collecting wood, don't know about the current situation. Matsu starts talking about the other students, saying that they must be enjoying their summer vacations by now. Asuka mentions that she wants to join them, but there is no point in talking about it now. As they are talking about it, she hears the shout of Hamer. Hamer, worryingly trying to find Hamer from a height. Asuka and Matsu come running back and ask her about the current situation. She dramatically tells them that she can't find Shion anywhere and that she might have been swept away somewhere. Asuka loses her temper and starts to blame Hamer. Hamer apologizes and tells them to help her make a new raft so they can go to find her. While they are making the raft, a revelation from Father Sama comes by, which is that your life is the most important thing during survival, and if there are more people with you, you shouldn't take risks. She apologizes to her father for not following his revelation. I used to pray for times like this. The raft is ready, and the other girls are pushing it so it captures a flow and starts. Hamer does feel that it is not possible to find Shion now, but she is still ready to give it a try. Before going, she tells everyone that she is definitely going to bring Shion back. We finally get to see Shion, who is far away from the island, on her raft, crying badly. She starts to remember the teachings of Hamer now. Oh man, please don't start this now. She remembers that she can't live without water for more than 2 days. Wiping her tears, she soon gets thirsty and wonders if anyone has noticed her absence. As her raft drifts forward, she spots another island and hopes that if she reaches it, she might survive. Back at the shelter, Matsu and Asuka are trying to stay hopeful as they decide what to make for dinner, thinking that Shion and Hamer will be hungry when they return, so they should make something special to surprise them. I don't call it hope, I call it staying in delusions. Matsu snaps back to reality. And they will get back, won't they? Asuka starts to hype her up by saying that it is Hamer and she is definitely going to bring her back like she is some Greek god. Shion finally crashes into the island, breaking her raft. But there is a surprise. Ta-da, the island is made of rock and has nothing other than rocks. She still doesn't lose hope and starts searching for the island. She discovers a cave on the island. She starts to get more thirsty and tries to enter the cave, but it is all squishy fluid outside it, and soon she loses hope and accepts her fate. Now she is sitting under a rock's shade with all hope lost and crying. Hamer, who's still inside the sea, starts to wonder if she has already crossed Shion behind because the flow of water is faster than before. She starts to get worried that her directions are clear, but if the sun sets, it is over for her. She can't find Shion then. At this point, she starts overthinking about the situation. Then again, boom, the revelation from her father comes again. The FBI needs to find this man just to see who this guy actually is. She remembers an old memory of her childhood and her father telling her not to lose hope. She remembers him telling her to acquire the skill of critical thinking and always find a way out of problems by looking at things from every angle and not giving up. And his name is John Cena. Hamer, after using some math and bamboo to jump high, finally catches a glimpse of the island where Shion is right now. Shion, who is in her imagination talking to his parents about his new friends and seriously tweaking out, is almost about to pass out due to thirst. She loudly says that she can't hold it for much longer and can't go on anymore. Then she hears a voice that says, "Yes, you can," and it is none other than Hamer, who has finally arrived to save her. Shion is flabbergasted to see her, and Hamer, in reply, quotes her father, "No matter the circumstances, there is always a way." Shion starts crying and tweaking again. Gang, she definitely needs to stay locked in. The episode ends with Shion crying while hugging Hamer. The last episode of the series begins where we left off. Shin apologizes for crying but expresses that she felt hopeless. That's why she was crying. She mentions that she is thirsty and needs water. When Hammer mentions that she did not bring a water bottle with her, Shin throws a tantrum again. Honestly, if I were in Hammer's shoes, I would have left her to die on this island after this. Hammer asks her if there is anything special she found on this island. She tells her about the cave she did not go into before. She takes Hammer to the cave. Hammer asks the reason for not going inside. She mentions the squishy liquid and rotten smell. Hammer shouts inside the cave, causing bats to stir, which scares Shin and asks her the reason behind it. So Hammer mentions that she did see some on their island too. Hammer starts to search for things in the cave, and she finds some fresh rainwater inside the cave. The only problem is the smell, which is similar to a drain and has been polluted by bats' poop, so she drops it because it can infect them, which isn't entirely wrong. However, Hammer boosts her morale by saying that the discovery, although terrible as a water source, can still be useful. She tells her that it is tough for her, but they need to go back. First, they will capture some trash, and then they will rebuild the raft. They start to find stuff and rebuild the raft. After they finish rebuilding the raft, they start sailing back to the island. Shin begins to weaken from thirst, and even Hammer is not feeling much good. Hammer has taken the bat-contaminated water in bottles with them. Shin asks the reason for taking the dirty water with them, to which Hammer replies that it is for UV sterilization, but it doesn't seem to work and it might take a bit of time. Shin again loses her mind because of thirst and is about to drink the dirty water, assuming it to be clean. Hammer stops her instantly after noticing that she is tweaking out again, and then she asks if she knows the consequences of drinking this water. Shin dumbly replies, no. Hammer explains to her that it can cause diarrhea and vomiting in under 30 seconds, and it will make them more thirsty, and they will pass out on this raft without reaching the island. But Hammer introduces a new way to stay hydrated, which is to transfer the water to the stomach through the anus. Sometimes she is the smartest, and sometimes she is the wildest. She explains that it is safe to drink this water if you transfer it to your stomach through your anus. This terrifies Shin to her feet, and she directly rejects the idea. But Hammer steals her consent and forcefully does it anyway by using her mouth to transfer water. At the shelter, Matsu and Asuka are making food. While on the boat, Shin is lying down in despair that she has done something she shouldn't have, but she is trying to give herself the false hope that it is for survival. But things don't stop here. Hammer orders Shin to do the same process 10 times because she is more dehydrated and needs to survive. Again, she forces her to do this for the sake of survival. It is evening now, and Shin is gloomily thinking about what has happened to her. She requests Hammer for everything that happened between them. Hammer ignores her request and tells her the good news that the island is now in their eyesight and they can return to their place now. It is almost night. Asuka sees Shin and Hammer sailing back to the base and calls Matsu too. Finally, Hammer and Shin see them too. Now, there is a smile on everyone's face. Shin jumps from the raft and starts running towards Matsu and Asuka for a hug. After they finally meet again, they start crying while Hammer remembers her father's teaching about not wasting your life for others. She apologizes to him for not following him again. After the final meeting, they have dinner prepared by Matsu and Asuka, and they start offering them all the dishes and items they made. Asuka asks Hame if she forgot to take water bottles with her and how she manages dehydration. Hammer is almost about to spit the truth, but Shin cuts her out and says it was determination and spirit that made them come this far. After a while, they are trying to sleep on their hammock. Asuka asks Hammer what they are going to make tomorrow, and Matsu mentions that it is almost time to check the traps again tomorrow. Shin mentions that she wants to eat something sweet again tomorrow, but they soon find out that she is sleeping like a bear in hibernation. The next day, it turns out that Hammer is teaching the girls how to catch boars with a new type of trap. She, like a general, orders everyone to rub boar poop on their hands to deceive the boars into thinking that they are boars too. Then they again set up a new trap and, as usual, called a new stuntman to check whether the trap was working or not. This time it is not Asuka but Shin, because she did not apply boar poop to her hands, so as a result, she has to test the trap now. She gets trapped, and her pants get revealed too. And unlike Asuka's, which had a rabbit on them, she has her name written on her panty. The series concludes with Hammer's father traveling on a yacht and coming to save his daughter. So this was all from us guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, do like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends.